Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blonde Intelligence. I'm your host, Miss Ronnie. Please forgive the voice, and where I always give you exquisite cranial repertoire. This week, we have a very special guest. We have the artist Muneer. How are you doing today?
Hey, Miss Ronnie, how you doing? The artist Muneer here, based out of Nashville. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on the show. Hi to all the listeners. I hope everyone's in good spirits.
All right, all right. Well, what we're going to do is start off with letting you take over and tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Okay, all right. So, my name is the artist Muneer. I do positive content hip hop. Um, I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm originally from Jersey, but I'm out in Nashville doing what I got to do. You know what I mean? And they're showing me a lot of love out here. I've been recording my album out of a studio, the Underground Studio on Music Row out in Nashville, the only urban-based studio in Nashville on Music Row. You know what I mean? Check them out. Shout out to Track Burner, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just out here just making it happen. I've been going between Nashville and Atlanta recording my album. And, we're about to push it out pretty soon. And I'm excited for everyone to see what I bring to the table because it's really all about enlightenment and positivity over here. Feel me?
Okay. So tell me, how long have you professionally been an artist?
Professionally, I've been an artist for about 2 years now. And I've got a lot done in that 2 year time. So, my catalog is pretty big for that period of time. And sometimes I actually get questioned about that because when I look at my track record and what I have done, that 2 years seems like a long time to me, you know what I'm saying? Because of where I'm at in my life right now, and the 2 years that I've done, people will say, oh, well, you just released this song like 6 months ago. I was like, nah, that's old, man. We on a new wave already, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. So tell me what has been, I would say in those last 2 years, the hardest challenge that you have had.
Moving away from my kids to pursue my music career. That was really the hardest challenge that I had, because that was literally the first step. I left a corporate job. I left security. You know what I'm saying? I left what the modern American considers security to pursue, you know what I'm saying, what was inspired in my heart, and that was to be a musician. And the hardest thing of that wasn't the risk of the not knowing. It was the pain that was associated with me stepping away from my children to do what I needed to do and what I felt I needed to do to provide the life that I saw fit for them.
Okay. So is your involvement with your family, with your children, is that the reason why you chose the route to go inspirational hip hop? Or has that just always been part of your personality?
You know, everything that we become is always a part of us, even regardless of how innate it may be, you know what I'm saying? I feel like this was the season for this to come out of me and to flourish, you know what I'm saying? Every seed doesn't grow in every season. And the seed that I have, the positive energy that I'm bringing, it had to be cultivated for a long time. And that, came about through pain and, suffering and losses and experiences. And, once I got to that point, then this is the inspiration. So, yeah, I mean, I hope that answers your question somewhat,
Okay.
you know.
Well, I asked the question. I don't expect a right or wrong. I just expect what
Yeah.
okay. So tell me this. What has been, I would say, I'm not going to say the easiest thing, but the most satisfaction that you have received from your music career in the last 2 years? And satisfaction is it could be personal, it could be professional, it's anything that you think, but what has been the most satisfying?
There's a few things, but I think what stands out the most to me is the fact that I've been able to maintain, stand on my square and maintain my own principles and not make any compromises. I see a lot of artists, and I'm not, talking down on them or anything, but a lot of people think that that's the only way to do it, and I came in bullheaded with, what I'm saying, like the reservation that I wasn't going to make compromises for anybody. And if they weren't going to do it on my tempo or how I was trying to do it and change my art or change me in any way, then it just wasn't for me. And I just knew that another door will open. So I think that's the thing that makes me most happy looking back, is that I didn't have to make any compromises, because that's what I chose to do before I put my foot in the game.
Okay. Next question. Tell me if you have had any collaborations, and tell me about the best collaboration. You don't have to give names, and tell me about a collaboration from you.
It's really hard for me to find people to collaborate with, honestly. And the reason is the level that I bring, it's not forced, and you can hear when something is forced in the music, what I'm saying, or when someone is moving away from their regular comfortable writing style and jumping into unknown territory. It's like that, you could hear that in a song when you play it. So it's been really difficult for me to find a lot of artists to collab with, but I do have one artist that what I'm saying, happens to be my best friend from childhood, that is my main in-house executive producer as well. And we've done a few tracks together, and his heart is in the same place as mine. What I'm saying, we're brothers. What I'm saying, we're our brothers' keepers. We encourage each other to do right and push harder and stay the course. So that was the best collaboration I did, because the energy was right. And I'm open to any collaboration. What I'm saying, I just you just got to make sure your heart is in the right place, because I'm not gonna waver on mine.
Okay. Well, I know that you mentioned earlier that some people will come to you and tell you that some of the music that they hear is old. So, what number album are you on? And tell us about the current album.
So right now I'm on the first album. So I've been
Okay.
releasing singles. I took a little bit of an unorthodox approach to everything, and I didn't find my sound um, for like the first 6 months. I was really testing the waters and seeing what would go and what wouldn't. So I was releasing single after single to get feedback and see where that got me, and learning the ins and outs about marketing, learning the ins and outs about, what I'm saying, getting everything straight as far as the back end, to make sure that, what I'm saying, I'm safe when everything does matriculate. So, what I'm saying, the first album that I'm doing is this one coming out, and we're it's going to be a two-part release. The first part release is going to be December 21st,
What's the
and
name?
that's the winter solstice. So, what I'm
Winter.
saying, yeah, I'm gonna release the first part on that date, and then the second part is gonna be at the beginning of spring. And the reason I'm doing it that way is because the album is called Darkness to Light, and what I'm saying, it paints the picture, the contrast between the transition between the two seasons. So what I'm saying, you'll hear that transition, and you're not going to get everything on the first one that you're going to get on the second one, because that transition has to be apparent. So you'll see.
Okay. So that brings me to this question. What thought processes do you have for your release? Because I know we talked earlier, and I have ran into some artists that are doing it independent, and I understand that, everything is a learning curve. But I have heard some finish an album and then drop it the next week. What is your thought processes when you get ready to release a single or album or anything? Because you had to have some type of process to go from what they call it, from a time of rest to a time of growth, as you would call it. So, what processes do you go through to decide on the aspects of the release?
Um, I mean, that's a pretty good question to ask. So everything that I put out, is hard work. I only put out about, I would say, a tenth of the songs that I write. So I'm literally writing a new song every day. And and then even after that makes the cut. Recording them, that's a whole nother thing, because you have to weed out the ones that are going to get recorded, and even after it gets recorded, then you only get the ones that make the cut after that. So what I'm saying, as far as my creative process, I don't intend to slow that down at all. The period of rest that I had was my life that I wasn't doing this. So right now I feel like I've been anointed with the energy where I can keep going. And it's not, what I'm saying, to say that I'm not going to have any structure to it. If I'm given the right advice, I'll heed it 100%. But my job as an artist is for those juices to keep flowing, because once those juices stop flowing, then the money stops coming in, what I'm saying, and the growth stops, and what I'm saying, then we're not moving forward anymore. So I'm really at the point where once I complete this project, this 2-part release, um, I'm going to focus on making an album that has a lot of collaborations and try to work with artists and bring the best out of artists and see what they can do to test their limits of who they think that they are, what I'm saying, and put it on a track and see if they can catch a vibe with my positive energy. That's what I would really like to do, is to collaborate on my next album. And I already have it titled. Is going to be meeting of the mind. So what I'm saying, is basically going to be my mind interacting with other artists that are like-minded and can be on this type of level and bow on some tracks.
Okay. Well, tell me, what do you think about this? And this is kind of like a loaded question, and if people have something to say, it'd be. But with because I think that we have established by now that the hip hop industry can be a dangerous profession. With the hip hop industry being a dangerous industry, what do you feel about how the behavior is of some of these rappers, knowing that hip hop is a dangerous profession?
Mm, okay. So I was actually thinking about this the other day. It's funny you asked me. I know we all know the saying, "You are what you eat." You know what I'm saying? But it's more to that with the hip hop industry. You know, um, the things we do and the vices we have become the strings that control us. So what I'm saying, the more of those strings that we have, the more we're going to be able to be controlled by other people. And, as far as the behavior, that goes hand in hand with a vice, what I'm saying? And a vice could be anything from clout to money, what I'm saying, to being around and rubbing the right elbows. We all make compromises and sacrifices to do something else. Now, the behavior that's going on, I mean, is to each his own. But I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about people that do stuff, but I don't.
What
If I'm gonna die being how dangerous the hip hop industry is, I want to know that, what I'm saying, it wasn't for nothing that I brought upon myself, I guess is what I'm saying. I know hip hop is dangerous right now, and I think that there's more of a reason for someone like me to be in it, because if I go, there wasn't no funny business going on.
Okay, so what you're saying is ultimately, for what we know, that each person is responsible for their own behavior.
Yeah.
So when something goes wrong, we all should look at ourselves and see that we contribute to that. But the reason why I asked that question is because we can say that and base it upon what we think, but I don't think that anybody ever gives any thought to that other person just might not be on your level. They might not think like you. They might not have, I would say, the mental capacity to even have foresight like you do.
I see why you say that was a loaded question because that was me at one point. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like I know how the life is, and it's basically, what I'm saying, about survival. You know what I'm saying? And like that's all it comes down to. Whatever you define as surviving, whether you define survival as being popular, survival is putting food on the table. Whatever you got to do is what you got to do. All I'm saying is, what I'm saying, when you do things that put you around certain people and like you, I mean, we got to do what we got to do. So I'm not knocking nobody. Basically, I'm here to just show that there's another way, and I want all my brothers to be better. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't sitting here knocking nobody.
You because you're not the typical stereotypes that is considered hip hop. That's the reason why I want to know what you thought.
All of my friends, a lot of my friends are still doing that. And like I don't knock them, I still show them love. You know what I'm saying? I'm still around them. I just don't participate in certain behaviors per se. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm turning a blind cheek or even like doing it and then being hypocritical. We are who we are, and that's the way God made us. And I hope that everyone gets to that point in the road of their life where they find an opportunity to make a right instead of a left, to change their course if they want to, if that's what they seek. And I'm sure that if it is, if it'll be given to you for sure.
Okay. So tell me, ultimately, what are you wanting out of your music career?
I want world change. And I know that may sound a little far fetched, but that's really what I dreamed about since I was a little kid. You know, I've always been an empath. I've always seen things wrong in the world. And, what I'm saying, a fist can only change but so much, and it can get you into trouble. And I knew that there was something that I would be able to do to change things and make things better for people. And that's what I'm doing. I literally just want to make people's lives better so that, what I'm saying, they invest in their future, what I'm saying, after this life is over.
Okay. I want you to give me your experience or the moment that you decided that you were going to be a professional artist. What made you make that decision? Stick to it, be committed, and ride it out.
All right. I mean, it was a little personal, but it's all good. What I'm saying?
Tell me I'm
My
being too
children.
now.
No, you ain't. You ain't. What I'm saying? Because I'm transparent, so it's all good. I'm just letting you know the level that I'm reciprocating for you. Basically, it was social media's influence on my children's lives. Seeing them so wrapped up in what was going on in there and not wrapped up as to what's going on out here, the balance wasn't right. And, I understand that the times change and maybe this is just the way that we're going, and that's okay. But, they can be oversaturated with things that are just fluff and meaningless. You know what I'm saying? Like there has to be some good in there as well. And it has to be the good that they're going to be keen to going towards. You know what I'm saying? And like they're not going to look at somebody that's a cornball, what I'm saying? But like, that's the dude who I want to be like, what I'm saying? And I'm talking about my own kids here. So, like I really just wanted to be in a position where I could send a message to them by example and manifestation that there's another way and that you don't have to follow the masses.
Okay. So tell me this. We have always heard that history repeats itself, that time falls over. So with social media and social media being censored now, where before you could put basically anything you wanted out on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, and it didn't even have like a content disclaimer or anything. So we all know that we're being censored more now. And sometimes people try to tell the truth in art and music and different things like that, and it's being censored where you're being shunned or you're being quieted. So, do you think that with history repeating itself, that people are going to go back to original CDs, different things like that that used to be done, that technology has taken over to actually get the real music, the real truth out. How do you think the censoring is going to affect how history repeats itself?
you know, that's a really cool question. It brings a lot of ideas to my mind. But as far as like the CDs and stuff, you already know it costs more to, what I'm saying, get a CD player and burn a CD than anything now. So I think what we're going to start turning into is taking an example that crypto made on the world, and, what I'm saying, start to do like media publications through different avenues that can't be tampered with. You know what I'm saying? I think that would be the move for the masses now. Being backed in a corner where you can't speak, you're gonna find a way to speak. And right now, everyone's in a digital age. So I think, like people used to call it the dark web, but there's a lot of good things on there too. Uncensored stuff, uncensored truths. You know what I'm saying? And I think
But
that
it's
now people are
hard
more
to
used to
find.
crypto.
But it's getting harder to find with so many platforms censoring them. So that's what I'm saying. With so many platforms censoring, how do you think that people are going to get the truth out, or things that need to be said, if the platforms are being censored? You have to take technology out of it. Do you think
Mm.
that history is going to repeat itself, or what do you think with social media being censored about, even with the type of music you do, positive inspirational music, but it can still be positive inspirational music depending on what neighborhood you grew up in. What we might consider to be vile might be normal everyday life for somebody else. I mean, so if they start censoring what they call the undesirables, then what avenues do you think that people will take? Do you think that history will repeat itself and they will go back to word of mouth, and hey, here's a jump drive, or whatever, or do
I,
you think by email? I mean, how do you think it's going to work for the independent artist with censoring on social media? Because social media, you cannot make it without social media.
I mean, social media is basically a database if you look at it like a tool, you know what I'm saying? And all of those tools have emails and phone numbers most of the time connected to them, you know what I'm saying? So there's other avenues to contact to your fan base, you know what I'm saying? And like once there's a big enough need, you know what I'm saying, the demand is going to present itself, you know what I'm saying? And, this emptiness, this void, this looking for something that's wholesome, you know what I'm saying? That's a growing desire in most people nowadays. So, I don't see that. I see the brightest minds of our generation coming up with a way to put that out that can't be touched. Remember, crypto wasn't touched by the government for the longest. It's just recently that they're starting to talk about incorporating it into the United States. And Bitcoin was around for the longest time. So we got people in this nation that are very intelligent, and around the world that are very intelligent, and I'm sure that they're gonna, because Reddit is out there. Reddit put out a whole bunch of truth. There's a whole bunch of platforms, and I'm 100% sure that someone is going to become inspired enough to make that for music. 100%.
All right. Well, I thank you for coming. And I want you to tell everybody your social media handle, the name of
Yeah.
your album, the latest single, where they can find it, and anything else that you would want to tell about the artist Muneer.
All right, all right. So my name is the artist Muneer, as you know. You can search me up on Instagram at the artist Muneer, Muneer. SoundCloud.com/ the artist Muneer. I got my entire release catalog on there, as well as 2 songs that are going to be on the new album. So you could check them out there. And I'm always looking to talk to like-minded individuals. So if you ever want to reach out to me on any of my socials, feel free. I'll be more than happy to connect with you for sure.
The
And
name of the
thank you for having me, Miss Ronnie. And I love what you do for the culture. You're so inspirational yourself, and what I'm saying, uplifting people, and what I'm saying, just bringing this light to this darkness.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Well, I appreciate you for coming. And you can find us on podcasts, on social media, YouTube, and the website. And remember, you can find him on SoundCloud at the artist Muneer. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Have a good one, Miss Ronnie. Peace.
Bye.